Show. Always Irish Show. Always Irish Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. What is going on with the chat? Geez, I thought, it's going to be we're just going to ease into a snowy Friday here. Sleepy Friday. You guys are riled up in the chat. It's like, did I miss something in Notre Dame land? What the hell's going on? Jeez. Man, we got a lot to go over. I starred a bunch of these chats. I don't know what's gotten into people. Usually I'm the angry one. We got people mad about the schedule. We got people mad about New York. We got people mad at Freeman. We got people mad at Freeman already for whatever's going to happen next year. I don't know what's going on. Jeez. Man, I love the intensity. I just didn't expect it, and it made me feel like I missed something. We got a lot to go over, and some of this is going to shift just based on the chat. And then I think I'm going to have to start doing some episodes. I was going to wait longer to go over some of the schedule stuff, but if that's going to pop, then maybe we need to do full episodes on discussing some of that. My word, you guys are worked up. I like it. Couple phone calls already. 404 is going to be the first one up. I got to go over. Some of your chats are just, some of them are just bad. And some of you are getting here's what I appreciate. Some of you are getting good at like burying things or code words or like leading me somewhere where I'm going to get it, but what you put isn't like outwardly atrocious, but I'm going to get it because my brain's messed up. My word. It's you guys are wound tight, and usually that's me. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to go over some of those chats. We'll take the phone calls. Mark, you guys are, I don't even understand. This is a morning show. If this was Friday night, I get that people are a little more loose. I don't know what's going on here today. You guys are on one today. It's like everybody get a message. Today's the day, and I'm the one that didn't. Tex ND, that LSU recruiting article was atrocious. It was heavily slanted in LSU's favor. Let's just put that. The beers are flowing at 9 a.m. apparently. I saw that LSU recruiting article. It's coming from an LSU blog. So what do you expect him to say? Kelly's amazing and Notre Dame sucks. There, I just saved you reading the article from an LSU blogger. Okay, I just saved it. It's hilarious. Oh, man. All right, let's get into this. I don't know where this is going to go, but let's do it. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Get a video thumbs up. That helps Yanni Boy out as well. Notifications on it where you're alerted every time. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't drunk. He did another video talking about something, though. It wasn't him. It was a writer. But it was heavily slanted in Kelly's favor in every way. The guy ignored all of the pro Notre Dame evidence and then just added all of the pro BK stuff. It was hilarious. It really was hilarious. Tex, I'm glad you got that. Glad the delivery's working there. Oh, man. You guys are, woo, baby. Let's get back on track. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat, Always Irish Jake. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it. You can get it to Colin lines. 312-988-15. You dial it in. I'm scared to hear all you've heard and seen just by looking at the chats. Mikey, that would be dangerous. I'd probably get in trouble. Although I'm getting old now, Mikey. 15 years ago, then we're talking big time trouble. Now I'm an old man. Now, I'll post up somewhere, drink my Miller Lite, watch everybody walk by. I'm too old to get in that mix now. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc., USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it, folks. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Former captain, leading tackler, Mike Goolsby, and myself behind the paywall. When this show gets done, 10:30, 11 o'clock, we'll see how long we go today. We interviewed Owen Strebig, Notre Dame, big offensive line commit from Wisconsin, committed to Notre Dame. We had him on the show last night. We did a solid half hour. Man, I'm telling you, this kid is on top of it. Mindset, how he's thinking about just these Notre Dame dudes are different now. We've interviewed a few different committed recruits on the Patreon. I got to tell you, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the maturity. There's something, these Notre Dame kids just get it. Like, I'm just impressed by the big picture viewpoint these guys have when they're still in high school to look at the big picture and what they're looking for out of their college experience and Notre Dame and all that. So Owen was really, really a good interview and really impressive. So that'll be coming out when this show ends. So anybody that's on both platforms, if you want some entertainment this weekend, shoot over there and go check out Owen. It's good stuff. Yeah, I did see that. I did see LSU had a little legal problem there. RKG, baby. RKG all the way, especially when the local police realized they arrested an LSU player. That'll get scrubbed down to a misdemeanor real quick. Friends of the program will take care of that one. That's how it goes. That's how it's went. Kelly's already got that done. So that'll happen again, and they'll scrub that down. They didn't realize when they busted the guy, he played for LSU, and so now they'll have to backtrack that one. Okay? They're going to have to backtrack that one for sure. And so, I don't know. Look at this. Chief, you're not the first. Did I miss something? Did Marcus Freeman run over all your dogs this morning? I'm just asking, did Freeman steal your wives away on Valentine's Day? What's with the Freeman grilling in the middle of nothing happening? Man, brutal. Some of this, you guys are brutal. More Tommy Reese got arrested. You know what I've always wanted to do, you guys? Honestly, I've always wanted to make a t-shirt with that mugshot of Tommy after the pepper spray and he looks all beat up and out of breath and drunk from running from the party. I just want to walk around one time with the t-shirt. It's just Tommy's mugshot. Chief, I'm with you on this one, Chief. Win something one time ever. Chief, I can't disagree with you on that one, especially if you're my age. I am that special age of Notre Dame fan, just too young to remember us winning anything, and then there hasn't been anything since. If there's a time frame of misery suffering as a Notre Dame fan, I'm at the top of the list because of my age. Are you following me? If there is an index that measures Notre Dame misery, I gotta be darn near at the top because of my age. I was alive when we won it all, but too young to remember. And then we haven't even had a major bowl win that I can remember. 93, I'm under 10 years. I'm not remembering that. We have not won one thing that makes me proud to end any year in my entire cognizant existence, you guys. I am the peak of Notre Dame misery. Anybody younger than me has less misery years. Anybody older than me remembers us winning. Lucky John. Lucky John. Unbelievable, man. Drunk says the ND misery will be the death of you, bro. If I'm going to go, I'd prefer to go out that way than any other way. Like, I'm sorry. Man, you guys are on one today. 404, you're coming up first. Let me finish my little speech here. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Go over to ndsubwayalumni.com. I love these guys. It's a beautiful relationship here I got with them. They help me out with some things. I help them out with some things. This group loves and respects and wants to honor the Notre Dame Subway alums. None of this would be what it is. Notre Dame wouldn't be what it is. The degree wouldn't be worth as much. They wouldn't have as much money. None of that stuff would happen without those people. No Notre Dame degrees, no fancy, oh, my dad went there, my grandpa went there, and I went there. We all went to law school. No. These are people that don't get the benefit of a Notre Dame degree, but they're the biggest fans in the world. Go get a t-shirt, get a Lewski for the tailgate. Ooh, that'd be fun. Make sure you do that. Man, you guys are. Connor, what's going on? Tom, good to see you here, Tom. Hope things are going well for you. Text me. Man, this is rough. So, okay. 404, I'm going to do a couple of these chats before they pile up on me. I do hope you understand. Otherwise, I'll never get to them. $20 holla from the V1 Rotate V2. I can always count on you, bro. I really appreciate the dono. With Army now, we'll never get rid of the stereotype of only playing military academies. Is the marquee three this year, Texas A&M, Florida State, and USC. And with the 12-team playoff, can Notre Dame ever be ranked number one, even at 12-0? No. Nope. That was what I wanted Jack to negotiate in. If they were going to pin us and charge a Notre Dame tax to be in the playoff for being an independent and not in a conference full time, I was going to say, okay, fine, we'll make that deal. But if we're literally undefeated and go 12-0, then I think we should be eligible to be higher than the 5. That's what I wish Jack would have negotiated. If it's like, okay, we'll play ball with you. We'll go with we're not in a conference championship game, whatever. So you could ding us for that. I wish Jack would have went for like another ancillary thing that could have been a lifeline. Like in the rare case, it's hard to go 12-0. Notre Dame goes 12-0, then maybe they could do that. I wanted that to be in the negotiations. I did see, though, they were going to get back together and rediscuss that format. And I think they were talking about going to a 5 and then a 7, with the 7 being all open to everybody, not guaranteeing that group of 5. I'm pretty sure I saw a blurb. They were going to go vote on that again. And I'm pretty sure the only change I saw was not the guaranteed space for the group of 5 team. So that would be 7 at large. And then that would help Notre Dame theoretically, I guess, some years, because you would have one more open space. So I don't know. Unless I read that blurb wrong, I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Swarbrick, beta. I wanted Jack to negotiate that, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. I don't know where the starting points were. I don't know if Jack went in there knowing this is the angle they were going to push. Like, I just don't know. In a negotiation for money, you always, your first thing is way more than what you would accept, right? So I just wonder the strategy there from Jack in this negotiation. I don't even know if it was a negotiation. I don't know. So it's a little tricky there. Look at this from Dr. John. You guys are on a roll today. Gosh, it's beautiful. Regarding military academies, if we had Air Force on the schedule, would we be eligible for the Commander-in-Chief trophy? Man, I get it. Mikey, this is a new age thought. I don't mind playing Army at all. The easier the schedule, the better. Keep the boys fresh for the playoffs. Michigan proved that's the way you got to do it in the modern age. Here's the thing, though. Beta. Here's the It's just funny when anybody who gets the reference, you'll know where that's from and why it's funny. Beta. And if you don't, it'll make no sense. But if you do, it's going to be really funny to hear me sitting here with that reference going beta. This is going to be really tricky because I don't know. Follow me here. I don't think Notre Dame meant, like, Michigan goes out of their way to try and make the easiest schedule possible. I'm not sure I even give Notre Dame that credit. I feel like it just kind of happens sometimes, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think Notre Dame, I'm not giving Notre Dame enough credit that I think they think, let's figure out how to schedule the easiest possible schedule to set us up for success. I don't think that's how Notre Dame people think. So if a schedule lines up that way, fine, but I'm not comfortable giving Notre Dame credit enough for that being an actual strategy. Like, Michigan made it clear. They knew the dynamic. It's one game a year at the end of the year. You just have to get there in a good position. I don't know. And again, with the ACC deal, there's nothing Notre Dame could do about that. You're getting a rotation of those teams. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be bad. Miami canceling hurt our schedule. Sly Fox, that's a good point. And so that's a tough one, but I'm not giving Notre Dame credit for scheduling easy. I don't think they think of it that way. If it happens, it just kind of happens. Angela Rudiger can't listen at the Illinois State Wrestling Tournament. Just came to give you a like. Angela, I appreciate that. Yeah, the Rudigers, that's a wrestling family. We know them for football, but that's a wrestling family, man. Their whole world revolves around wrestling, not football. That is a wrestling family. I don't know if everybody knows that or not. Around here, that family's legendary for wrestling, not football. Like, multiple of those brothers are legendary for wrestling. And so that's always been a big deal. And Angela's always been a part of that. Oh, man. I'm telling you. All right, this is going to be tricky. 404, hang in there with me. Let me get through the first batch of these, and then we'll do you, and then we'll come back, okay? I don't know if Drunk's joking or not. Are we going to talk about the QB battle, bro? If we're talking about the QB battle, we're talking about the QB battle for backup. We're not doing this again, you guys. We're not doing this again. We're not doing, hey, John, the early reports are that Buckner's had a Hartman and he's going to beat him out and he's been played better than him all. No, it was always going to be Hartman as long as he's healthy. This year, it's going to be Riley Leonard as long as he's healthy. I don't care what happens in spring. I don't care if Riley Leonard doesn't complete one pass. If his body's in one piece, he's going to be the starter. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to accept that. They all want to talk about competition. Freeman's going to get up there in a month and say, we're opening spring and it's a competition. It's going to be Riley Leonard unless he's hurt. Period. It may not be spoken. It may have not been told to him. That's the way it goes when the big cigar smokers pony up that much money. You don't have to like it. You could hate it. You could tell me I'm not right. It's what's going to happen. We went through it last year, and I told all of you, I don't care what they say coming out of spring, but it's going to be Hartman. It just is. That's the way these things go now. It's not going to be spoken. It's not going to be told out loud. They're going to talk about competition for spring ball. It's for backup. Period. I'm not entertaining anything else. It's just the way this is going to go this year. And you should have learned that from last year. It's how it's going to go this year. So I'm not even listening to entertaining that. The competition is for backup between Angeli and Minchie. Period. There's no scenario unless Riley Leonard is injured that he's not the starter. So deal with that. Oh, John, I know what's going to happen. The first press conference of spring is going to happen, and Freeman's going to get up there and go, we have a quarterback. We're excited to see it's a competition. Everybody. And then all of you are going to come to me and go, John, you're wrong. Freeman's saying it's competition. What do you mean? You're wrong. He has to say that. What do you not understand about this? He has to say it. He cannot get up there to open up spring and say it's not a competition. And you cannot do that as a coach. So he's going to say it because he has to. This is modern football. Get with it. This is how you got to play the game now. All these coaches got to do it this way. You pay the money they paid for Riley Leonard to come here, and then he holds a clipboard. Guess what? Your NIL, there's no water in it. That's just not going to happen. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't think it's the sport I grew up with. It's not in the true spirit of athletic competition. I'm not claiming it is. I'm just claiming the realities we live in. Not the way it should be, not the way I want it. The realities we're in dictate. The guy getting the big NIL, he's going to be the starter. So let's just start with that. Andrew Gilmore. Can we be honest? This ND schedule is a disgrace. If we're going to knock Michigan, let's take responsibility too. 2 MAC teams and 2 service academies, total joke. The issue, Andrew, is we end up in a position where we want a tough schedule, but then everybody's mad when you lose a couple games on a tough schedule. And then if you get an easy schedule, then people are mad that it's an easy schedule. But if you have an hard schedule, then everybody gets mad if you lose a couple games. So the only answer for Notre Dame fans, as difficult as we are, is we want a tough schedule with all brand names trending up, and we have to beat them all. It's just, there's no winning. There's no winning. So I don't know. It's just tough. ND playing in the New York area twice. Yeah, New York twice. The Georgia Tech games in Atlanta. We're all over the place. We're all over, and I'll get to that in a minute. Jeremiah Love or Riley Leonard better be electric players, or else they'll struggle to fill the stadium. Freeman has no excuse to miss the playoffs. He's got to make the playoffs. Got to make the playoffs. Whatever that looks like, got to make the playoffs. And, I mean, I don't know what you're going to pull at Yankee Stadium in November. You're going to have weather. It isn't going to be that warm. So I don't know what you could expect to realistically pull. Andrew, it's 4-game schedule. A&M, Louisville, Florida State, USC. I'd argue that all 4 teams are going through a mini rebuild. If Freeman loses to any of them, he stinks. Yeah, I mean, those seem to be the big 4. And here's what I'll say about that. It's very well spread out. Last year, you ended up with a month where you had 4 night games in a row against all undefeated teams, and that was an absolutely brutal run. Here, they're all spread out. You have A&M, then you have Northern, Purdue, Miami, Ohio, always Irish tailgate game, by the way, before Louisville. So you have that spacing. A&M, then it dies down, ramp up to Louisville at home. Stanford at Georgia Tech in A-Town. Navy back home, Florida State. So you got them at home. Virginia, and then you go to Yankee Stadium, and then you go all the way to LA. The spacing's much better than last year's team. It is. So 12-0 is the goal. Maybe 11-1. If he loses more than 1, wow. Dude, here's the thing, though. Every year, all summer, everybody looks at the schedules and goes, this will be easy and that'll be easy and this team sucks and this and that. And then certain teams end up being good you didn't think were going to be good, and other teams end up not being good you thought were going to be good. Nobody knew Duke and Louisville were going to be the pains in the butt they were last year. I wasn't looking at that. You knew Duke was going to be tough, but you didn't think it'd be undefeated, just knocked off Clemson night game at their place tough. Those are there's different levels of tough. Tough with them undefeated, feeling good because they beat Clemson is a lot different than 1 loss to Clemson and you have Duke. So it's just, Andrew, you can hate on this statement, but BK would go 12-0 with this disgraceful schedule. Well, he had a disgraceful schedule in 2021 and lost to Cincinnati at home. The last time Notre Dame had a super easy schedule, it was 2021. There were brand names on the schedule that were not good that year, and he lost to Cincinnati at home. So I can't get down with that. Bad Florida State in overtime. Toledo, Purdue, Wisconsin, They're not elite at all. Cincinnati at home, you couldn't handle. Bad Virginia Tech, bad Southern Cal, North Carolina, overhyped. Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Stanford. That schedule was a joke, and you couldn't handle Cincinnati at home. So, whatever. Am I wrong? This is the easiest schedule in ND history. Here's the other thing about this schedule, too. And this is a bigger scale discussion for all of college football. These regular season schedules and strength of schedules are going to mean almost like all next to nothing. Are they not? Strength of schedule already isn't used enough to grade the 4 teams coming in. Now we're going to have 12. You are going to have people going out of their way to try and schedule nothing to get into the playoff. And they're going to have their main rival. Everybody's going to have like 1 or 2 big games and try and position themselves for the playoff, I think. I just feel like that strength of schedule thing's already out the window. So I don't know. C. Jones, the roster's dramatically improving. The schedule, very manageable. Now NDS prove it on the field. I'm ready for it. I'm telling you, the spacing is the biggest deal to me. And I learned a rough lesson last year. It's a grind. And the spacing matters. It's not just who you play, it's when you play them. This year, all of those big moments are spaced out in a much more favorable way. All right, timeout. I already got to blow my nose. It was like 50 degrees. Now it's 30 degrees. My sinuses are killing me. Entertain yourselves. Oh, it's a struggle over here. I'm telling you guys, it's a struggle, man. I've been eating Advil, cold, and sinus like they're Skittles, bro. You wouldn't even believe it. Andrew, the reality of ND playing this type of poor schedule will continue to happen unless ND joins a conference. There's very little upside that benefits big ranked opponents playing ND. Yes, I agree with that. Here's a really interesting point. 404, I'm coming to you, man. I promise. Strength of schedule doesn't matter because you have to beat 3 top 10 teams in the playoff. Nobody's going to say the champ didn't deserve to win if they beat 3 playoff teams. I get that, Jay Carr. But the point is playing a weak schedule intentionally to get you into the playoff. We're talking about different things, right? Like just slow playing it, easy playing it to get in is different than what happens once you're in. We're talking about the barrier to get in. Gosh, this is tricky. Everything's changing so much. Andrew, I actually don't care that it's an easy schedule. My point's twofold. Don't knock Michigan's schedule from last year. Oh, I'm going to. Ohio State. Oh, I'm going to. Ohio State and Penn State are way better. Freeman's run out of excuses. I do not respect playing Penn State. I don't. They're Brian Kelly, Notre Dame. I will never come off that till James Franklin proves he's anything other than that. I don't even count that as a big game. I don't count that as a huge victory when you beat. No, I don't. You don't get to just have half of a team and then act like they're a tough team to play. They had defense and a horrible Iowa offense. I'm not counting that as a big game. You got to present a full team. James Franklin, Penn State is Brian Kelly, Notre Dame, 100% same exact thing. I say it every week. Don't recruit elitely, but pretty good. They're not going to beat the best teams they play. Pencil those losses in. And then they're going to beat everybody they have more talent than. So you end up 10-2 every year. And then everybody puts them in the top 7 the next year, and we do the same thing. Every time you need Penn State to beat Ohio State or Michigan to mix things up, they fail. And it's not even close. So spare me. I'm done. I don't understand the James Franklin thing. I don't understand how Penn State's fine with this. And they keep buying into it. It's the whole Brian Kelly, Notre Dame thing all over again. It's not bad enough that you can run the guy out of town, but it's not good enough that you win anything. It's the same dynamic. Same dynamic. Look at this. Ohio podcast. Good morning, my Irish Catholic friends. Yesterday, former ND linebacker coach James Laurinaitis officially became the linebacker coach at Ohio State. Your thoughts? Rising in the profession, wish he could have stayed around. Yeah, good dude, rising in the profession. I heard nothing but good things about his time in Notre Dame. Nothing but good things. Crazy boy. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Congratulations after years of running a radio show. It's already been 2 years now, going on a little more than that. It's fun. I like doing this. It's very freeing for me. When I hit record or go live, it's like my therapy. It just melts away all of the real world concerns, and we're just in football land, and it's very healthy for John to be able to get it out. And I'm glad that you guys want to go along for the ride. Mikey Pulls, what's going on? Philly special, what up, baby? Crying Belly's back. Easy schedule. Plus fantastic opportunity for ND to do well in the postseason equals opportune time for Freeman to go 8-4. Buddy, 2 losses, and there's going to be a revolt. 2. If there's even 2, I think there's going to be a revolt. Like, I just do. $5 holler from Adam. Thank you, buddy. Give Indy a break, people, for softening the schedule a bit. The last 2 years was the toughest in 25 years. That is also a good point. The last 2 were, like, objectively very, very difficult. Very difficult. So maybe this balances it out. I don't know. John, how much of these guys get it from the recent ND recruits is coming from how much Freeman gets it? It's a good question. I don't know, because even under Kelly, the guys that, like, a lot of those guys that like Notre Dame, like the guys wired for school and religion from their childhood, is a Notre Dame path no matter who the coach is. I just think Freeman's doing a better job of finding better athletes that fit that bill. So I think that mentality's there with a lot of guys. I just think Freeman's finding better guys that have that mentality. But a lot of the guys that end up in Notre Dame, regardless of who the coach is, do have that very advanced personality, interaction skills, very respectful, very thoughtful. Talk about 40 years from now. Like, these guys get it. It's just not like, hey, give me my NIL and let's play some ball. It just impresses me. I don't know. It just does. Look at this. Sir Lucas. John, I'm calling BS. If Free Pass loses 2 and beats a crap team in a bowl year this year, you'll say things are trending up. No. Playoff. And win a game. Like, I'm starting to think that's the bar. It isn't just getting in the playoff and flaming out. I think the bar is getting in the playoff and winning a game. I genuinely, like, to be considered a success. That's kind of where I think we're at. And those schedules, man, I don't know what to tell you about these schedules. It's the strength of schedule things going down. Like, it already isn't valued or held against anybody when they schedule. Nobody on that committee gave a lick about any of what Michigan did, cheating-wise or Connor Stallions or whatever. They didn't care at all. And never one time did anybody ever talk about, oh, I don't know, Michigan's not playing anybody. Maybe we should move them down or not move them. No. Nope. That never happened. They're in the Big Ten, so the schedule must be good enough. So I don't know. So it's just tough. Man, what is this? And why can't I move my mouse? Johnny will never drop the hammer and go after Freeman. It's just like I do with the administration. When they deserve to be yelled at, I yell. When they do something good, I give them credit. It's the fairest way I know how to do it. I railed on the administration for fumbling the Ludwig situation. And again, spare me. Oh, it all worked out. We ended up in a better spot now anyway. And no. That's not the point. The point was drunk. I do like the guy, but I wasn't going to go that far with it. I do. That's funny, though. I'm not even going to be mad. I just think that's great. Just like the administration, when they deserve praise, they get praise. And when they deserve to be ridiculed, I ridicule them. With Freeman, I did want to be understanding of what he inherited because I had the opinion it was nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Oh, Freeman inherited a playoff level team. That was the narrative, and it was not accurate at all. Notre Dame didn't make the playoff the year before, so I don't understand how that makes sense. And then, oh, by the way, if this is important to you, most of the team that made them have a decent year in 21 was gone in 22. That is the biggest misnomer of the beginning of the Freeman era, is what he inherited. That roster was nowhere near good enough at all. So that narrative of he inherited a playoff level team and burned it down is 100% inaccurate. 100% inaccurate. Not true. Now, Freeman's got to get a lot better. Freeman's got to tighten up a lot of things. There can be no 10 men on the field anymore. There could be no mismanagement of the clock anymore. There could be no, we got to tighten it up. Drunk. I just can't. I just can't. I'm not even mad. I don't even want to read it. I'm just putting it on the screen. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just putting it up. I can't. I don't know what's going on today. You people aren't even drinking yet. Oh my God, that's funny. Man, what is with you guys? Did everybody get together to decide to troll me today? John, I don't see why Freeman should make the playoffs. I'm not interested in seeing ND get those cheeks clapped. Man, what is the turn on Freeman all of a sudden? The thing that bothers me is, yeah, Chief, it's like, wow, now that we have that idea, here's what I don't get. Here's what I'm struggling with. I took heat for the last 4 years of the Kelly era for doing my show and saying, this is all going nowhere. The results never going to change. We don't try to even recruit elitely. The effort's not even there. Nothing's going to change. We're at a level with Kelly and it's not going to, you're not breaking through that glass ceiling because nothing's changing with how they're building the team and recruiting. 4 years, I was saying, this is not getting over and I took heat. People defended Kelly. This is as good as it's going to get. Shut up and be thankful. Most successful guy since Lou. John, you're ungrateful. Nothing's good enough. Go find another team if this isn't good enough. I listened to all this crap. All this crap. Year after year after year of me being told I'm ungrateful. Just accept whatever Kelly does. You can't do better than that in Notre Dame. So I don't understand how the same people that covered for Kelly and bought into all of his political garbage he fed you. So many of you took the bait and told me that I was out of line for expecting the guy to get on a private jet and recruit harder. You guys told me I was out of line. Oh, best since Lou. John, who are you to say that's not good enough? Nobody could do better at Notre Dame. So I don't have a problem with people going after Freeman. I have a problem with the disingenuousness of not going after Kelly and going after Freeman. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's the issue I have. If this was the same people saying Kelly isn't good enough all that time I was, and they want more out of Freeman, that's a legitimate position. But I have a really tough time when the same people that carried Kelly's water is now year 3 and they want to ride Freeman out of town. Kelly's going on 10, 11, 12 years of not one major win in the postseason. And everybody told me, shut up, it's as good as we could do. That being said, it's a big year for Freeman. He's got to get in there and win a playoff game. All right, 404. I made you wait. My bad. What's going on? Good morning.
John, what's going on with you, man?
Here's the first question I have for you. I see this area code, and it's Atlanta area. Are you going to go to the Georgia Tech Notre Dame game if it's in your neck of the woods? Good opportunity for you.
I'm hoping to. We'll just have to see how everything falls out. I may take that money and end up at South Bend for the Stanford game instead.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's convenient to do, like, if it's in your area in Atlanta or whatever, and you could go catch Notre Dame, but nothing matches being at Notre Dame and that feel and you know, the whole thing. So yeah, I would try and do both. I don't know.
Especially that second week in October. You don't get much of that down in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's always just, man, there's that window at Notre Dame in the fall where it's just about perfect. It's not a long window, but it's not too hot. It's not too cold. And the leaves are changing and everything's just perfect. Like, that window in the fall at Notre Dame is like heaven on earth to me, man. I love it. I crave it.
I don't think I've been back to South Bend since maybe 90 when I watched the Miami game. It's been that long, so it'd be nice to get back up there. I did get a chance to check them.
A lot's changed
at Clemson, which was a freaking heartburn. But
if you haven't been there in that long, a lot has changed, man. Even I go a bunch of times a year, and every time I get off toll road, there's something different. It's wild. So yeah, there's been a lot of change there. It'd be interesting. So what's on your mind, man? A lot of discussion. It's not what I had on my list. A lot of people are debating this schedule and looking at, you know, what we're trying to set up here and is it tough enough and all of that. Wherever you want to go, man, people are on it today. They're on one.
Well, I was going to backtrack a little bit and hopefully we can talk about the schedule and the playoffs here at some point if you got time during the conversation. But I am really digging this Lando hire. And I know that the phonetics are out there with Lando instead of Landau and Jagusa as opposed to Jagasol. But it's what's interesting to me, and I don't know, and I know that Bayless has more of a culture probably than this gentleman did, but I didn't realize, and I could be wrong on this, that the majority of these workouts were being done by all the players. I mean, you look at a quarterback, he doesn't need to bench press. We need to get, shoulder scap stuff and elbow stuff to where he can freaking throw the ball. I mean, same with a running back. He needs to be working, quick twitch muscles, not pushing people out of the way like a lineman would be. And I kind of get the feeling I assumed that's where they were at to begin with. But then whenever I started hearing stuff about Bayless stepping aside and then everything that was going on with the Lando hire and how he prioritizes workouts by positions and that kind of stuff, I'm thinking, well, why weren't we doing this a long time ago? My only concern, if that would be a concern with Lando, is will he be able to put the weight on the kids that Bayless did, particularly the linemen?
Okay, so here's a couple things. And And some of this comes from Goolsby because he's a big, strong guy still that works out, and he's in that niche of workout people and training and all that. So he knows a lot of those people in that business around the country. And Mike trains kids that Notre Dame recruits and everything. And so Mike's in that world. He thinks a lot of this is because Freeman wants to get more modern with the medical technology, the scientific stuff, and all the new advancements that have come with recuperation and all of that kind of stuff. And Freeman was looking, yes, for the old school tough guy, conditioning, strength and conditioning stuff, but also to be able to add more of those modern elements of recovery and all the science and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. And Bayless was a little more old school, and they felt a little need to get more modern with the other stuff. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. I never got the full story on Bayless saying he wanted to pass away in the locker room and then he stepped down. So I never got the full story on that. Personal could be anything. That could be I don't get along with the head coach anymore, or it could be my kid has a health problem. Personal, everything's personal. That's the worst reason they ever give for anybody to do anything is personal reasons, because everything's personal. So I think that was a part of it. Do you have a question of he's done the NFL, but he's never coached kids this young? Does he have the personality to communicate and reach them? I don't know if that's a concern or what. I don't know what to think.
That's not a concern to me, particularly because you're dealing with, and I don't know, I mean, I get all this information of the Notre Dame student athlete, particularly from interviews, and those dudes are mature. I mean, some of these guys that I hear from other schools, they have a hard time putting a sentence together.
Yep.
And those guys are mature. They seem like they're there. And well, having said that, did you get a chance to see this video from Indy Loyal on Freeman? I guess it was Valentine's Day, or maybe the day before Valentine's Day. And it's about a 30-minute YouTube video. And he talks about, these recruits and how he sells recruiting and all this stuff. And it just speaks highly of, if you want to call it the right kind of guy, so to speak, but really speaks highly of the kids and their motivations. So I don't see that being as big of a problem as what maybe some maybe making it out to be, because I think those kids are already coming in and they are motivated.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Notre Dame guys are mature and know that they have work to put in. And so, yeah, I think you'll have everybody pulling from the same end of the rope there. I think it's just going to be, here's the thing.
What's also so encouraging about this is the administration opening the wallet for it. I mean, the contract terms that I've heard for Denbrock at 4 years at $1.9 million. And supposedly Golden is right there.
Got to give him credit.
Mickens has also been extended.
Yeah, I got to give him credit. And that is a long time Notre Dame fan complaint, is that they will not pay out for assistants and pay for the football stuff. And again, when it's warranted, I criticize him. On this one, I give him credit. So they're getting a lot of things done and opening the wallet up. And here's the thing about Landau. It's got to work. That's the stress for me. Yeah. It's got to work. You can't, the two foundational pieces of any program are recruiting and your strength and conditioning. And if both of those are not in a great place, not just good, if they're not in a great place, you're not winning anything. It's got to work. So this absolutely has to work. You can't get into November and guys are dropping weight and they're getting tired because they don't have enough calories, which happened early in the Kelly year. We got mowed down in November. Those guys were losing 30 pounds. They couldn't even keep their weight up through the year. I don't care what Landau wants to do and what it looks like in modern or whatever. It's got to work. That's my comeback. Yeah. It's got to work or everybody's in big, big trouble.
I feel comfortable it will. I mean, all indications are pointing that it will. Obviously, we haven't seen it yet, so there's no way of knowing for sure.
Kind of an impressive resume, though. Don't you agree? Impressive resume because he has individual stuff he does with clients that are very specified stuff that he trains them for. So he has that business. Then he did literally the whole Broncos. It's a very well-rounded guy. And you know what Goolsby told me about this that I didn't think of? He said, John, a lot of these strength guys are just like meathead gym rat strength guys. But Mike said to me, I kind of am intrigued by the fact that this guy has a business career. That's a different piece of a guy's brain when you're running your own business, doing all that too. I don't know if that matters to anybody or not, but Goolsby pointed it out. He goes, I like the fact this guy had his own businesses going. That's a different path than a lot of these guys. So that's an interesting offshoot.
Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the quarterback room. And this
I would
has kind
love
of
to.
been
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Shouldn't be bothering me, but I suspect, and I don't know why, maybe a gut feeling, I suspect that the coaching staff was hiding Minchie more this year to not have a situation where he might get poached. I think that, and it wouldn't surprise me if Angeli ends up number 2 again next year, even though I think Minchie is far more talented. I think that one of the reasons, and I've heard you talk about this, about how Minchie has not been spoke of much as like Carr and Deuce, is some of that, like I said, coming in late. But also you got to realize that Carr and Deuce were major recruiters for Indy, to where Minchie never had that option because of him committing so late.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that he has far more upside. And don't get me wrong, Angeli's looked good when he's been in, but I think that during at least the bowl game, he was doing more like a quarter reads and maybe half field reads based off of his. It seemed to me like his primary receiver was open all the time. So how's he going to look? How's he going to process? I mean, really, that's the big thing. And I guess that's really the big thing for the whole room, because they're all freaking talented.
Yeah, it's
how are they going to process?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm so excited for spring ball and the blue and gold game. That I joke about this, but I'm dead serious. There were a lot of years where I was excited to see none of the Notre Dame quarterbacks in the blue and gold game because I knew even the starter was nowhere near good enough to get us where we need to go. Now we're entering a year where I have 4 I'm genuinely intrigued in that all have little differing skill sets, and I'm genuinely intrigued to see them all. Can we go back to Minchie? You said maybe they kind of buried him a little bit on purpose or whatever. I mean, couldn't it just be he was a freshman and they're going to redshirt the freshman and let him learn and build up and all that to get him into the swing this year? Like, maybe it's just that simple that he's going to redshirt because he's that young. And then, but now, how do all those guys get enough snaps to feel like they're getting a fair shake in spring ball? I don't have the answer to that one. I'm struggling with that.
Gino's going to have to do some magic with that.
Yeah.
And Marcus.
Because
I think a lot of it with Minchie was his freshman year, but I think at the bowl game, by the time the bowl game rolled around, I don't know. I think he could have easily split time with Angeli there.
Yeah.
Or maybe even been the starter, but
I kind of wanted that
guy the whole time. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose Angeli either.
I wanted that. I wanted that, but I think Notre Dame was feeling the heat the way after the Clemson game, the vibes were not good. I think they just felt like we can't risk anything. Like, we're going with what we know and to get through it and get a win. But the question I have for you is, this is a very challenging one. When we get done with spring football, are all these quarterbacks going to stay at Notre Dame, or is somebody going to take off?
That's why I think they may keep Angeli at a number, or say you're in competition for the starting job, which we all know the truth of that. But I think Angeli's going to be the number 2 guy coming out of spring, but it would not surprise me that Minchie is the number 2 guy once school starts in the fall.
Yeah, that's man, it's tricky to navigate all this. These are new age. There's a lot of new age concern and the way you build a roster and keep guys happy. I don't know. And again, though,
if
like
Mitchie,
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like with Landau, they have to get this right too. Like they absolutely have to have proper evaluations on all these guys. And they got to make sure that they nail them and they're accurate. And so that whatever happens, they don't realize they made a mistake later. So however this is going to shake out with the depth chart there, they got to be right. That's another thing they cannot screw up because it's so important. And Gino's got to know what he's looking at. And Denbrock's got to know what he's looking at. And Marcus too, because this is a big spring to be able to set that bar.
If by chance Mitchie were to transfer because Angeli is number 2, who's going to pick him up without real? He's going to be being picked up based off of his perception. He's not going to be being picked up because nobody has any film off of him.
Yeah. I get it, and this is just tricky. And I kind of feel bad for Minchie. He's just kind of like nobody talks about him, and I think he could do some things. I just want to see the guy. I want to see him get a chance, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, I think that chance will come in the fall.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but
yeah.
I also wanted to touch on Riley Leonard a little bit. I'm hoping he's not just a taller version of Book. I mean, I don't think he has the accuracy of Book, but you hear some of these guys that some of the linemen, particularly, I guess it's more during the Reese and Golson era that, they had to block differently because they never knew where Everett was going to be, to where with Reese, you always knew he was going to be in the pocket. And I'm hoping that Riley Leonard doesn't have those happy feet that Book had, to where he would just take off even though the pocket looked perfect. You know what I mean?
Can I ask this? I brought this up to Goolsby last night. Is there any concern about Riley Leonard's passing? 58% completion this last year, 64 the year before, 60 before that. Not elite, not horrible, but like that's not a completion percentage that excites you? Or do you worry about that? Or are you like, hey, it was Duke. They didn't have a great O-line, don't have a lot of guys to throw to. He does a lot with his feet that open everything up. How much of that should we be thinking about? I don't have the answer. Genuine question, because I don't know the answer.
It's a huge concern to me. And I think that last year, people were excited about Hartman because because the previous year with Pine and Buckner, we had someone that seemed like they couldn't hit the freaking side of a barn as far as accuracy goes. And this year, again, my personal opinion, everybody is high on Leonard because he has his mobility so much better. But can he hit that side of a barn? I'm hoping we're not going to get just another version of Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah, and here's the part I think about. How much does that running part open up and make everything else easier, right? Like if you have a guy that's a legitimate run threat that a defense has to worry about and plan for week to week, how much of that loosens up everything else you want to do with that passing game and whatever. And also, here's the other thing. It's not just about that quarterback. The wide receiver room's getting better, but is not proven in any way. And, oh, by the way, I can't be the only one that has a little concern about the offensive line. I didn't think they were good enough last year. They were not good enough last year, and all the guys on that offensive line are gone, and I didn't think they were good enough. So I'm worried about that too. I'm worried about that too. And let me get out of this one. Oh, John, you don't know X's and O's. It takes 4, 5, 6 weeks for the offensive line to gel. You don't have 4, 5, 6 weeks. You go to Texas A&M week 1. You don't have a month and a half for everybody to figure out what everybody else can do. That's what August is for. You have no wiggle room. No wiggle room.
Dead
And
on.
here's the other part about it. You don't have to be fully formed. You don't have to be fully gelled week one. You just have to be gelled enough, you win the game. That's the idea. I'm not ignorant enough that I expect a full-scale done product week one. It doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be good enough you win. And you keep getting better and better, and you hit your stride mid-year. But it does me no good that you hit your stride and we already have a couple losses. Too late. So I don't know.
What
do I know?
My concern is with that is Denbrock, I think will be a huge asset. Don't get me wrong.
Should be
but
huge.
How long will it take for that offensive line with Denbrock, with the new quarterback, with the receivers for them to actually gel? Will it be week 3 whenever we're playing Purdue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that will be interesting to see. But
getting
onto the schedules. I'm sorry, John. I'm trying to
get
everything covered.
Dude, I'm like in my own brain today because people came out so hard in the chat early, and it's like I could see this year being awesome and Notre Dame making a real playoff run. I think I could see ways it falls apart too. The offensive line not being good enough is probably the number one thing. Like it doesn't matter if you like the quarterback and the wide receivers are getting better. If that O-line isn't good, the offense is not going to be good. Riley running will help mitigate some of that, but that's a big thing to me, man. And maybe those young guys are going to be better and more advanced than what I think, but you don't got to be fully formed, but you got to be formed enough you don't lose while you're developing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Your turn.
I just wanted to touch basically on the schedule. Yeah, it looks easy. We thought, like you had mentioned, we thought Duke and particularly Louisville would have been easy last year, but I also think that Denbrock will have a lot to say. I blame Louisville on the coaches. I mean, when you're throwing a fade route to Rico Flores on the 3rd or 4th play of the game, that's a scripted freaking play now. Now, who scripted that play, and who scripted to have Rico in on that play? I mean, and then the rotating offensive line, it's almost like many people have said that the coaching staff thought that it was going to be a walkover, so they figured, hey, let's get everybody in. I mean,
big mistake.
I don't think that will happen this year.
Big mistake.
I don't think that will happen.
Dude,
and
man, if you want to go,
I also like the fact,
if you want to give Freeman a hard time about something, give him a hard time about that Louisville preparation. And Goolsby's been mad about that ever since it happened. He said the tone was set early in the week going into Louisville, where the staff said, we're going to rotate linemen and a lot of guys are going to get in this week and all that. Goolsby's saying right away, you put it in the player's mind, they were going to run over that team and it wasn't that important or a big game. That was a mistake.
I have to agree with that. Definitely have to agree with that. But and last, and I'll leave you with this. I think there's a chance, or I can see a chance. I shouldn't say I think. I can see a chance where if Notre Dame has 2 losses, and the second loss being at USC, that they do not make the playoffs.
Ooh. It's going to be. I don't know how this is going to go. I've been racking my brain about this ever since that new playoff thing came up. Like what that record's got to be to get Notre Dame in every year. Is 11-1 gets you in every year? Does 10-2? I don't know. Depends on what else happens, I guess.
Yeah. Well, some of the SEC schedules and the Big Ten schedules are brutal, and I could see I can see a 3-loss SEC team that plays for the SEC championship get in if Notre Dame loses to USC in that last game.
Yeah, man.
Over a 2-loss Notre Dame.
You know, you do bring up an interesting point, especially in the Big Ten. I really, as a fan who isn't attached to the Big Ten, I really like these new teams joining the Big Ten because those teams from out west are going to beat a lot of those run-of-the-mill Big Ten teams. Like they are. And I am really interested to see that. And then the SEC,
and you're not going to have the divisions either. So you're
Yeah.
not going to have Ohio State playing freaking Iowa in the Big Ten championship.
See,
game
again, man,
like
that's always bothered me when I hear Notre Dame doesn't play a conference championship, but that's a tough game that another team could lose, and blah, 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 blah. Half of those years Ohio State was playing in that game, it was against 5-loss Northwestern, 4-loss Iowa with no offense. That ain't a title game of nothing other than in name.
Right.
Joke.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
John, it's going to be a tougher road. It's going to be a tougher road there, and I'm going to enjoy it. Hey, I like this. You join every once in a while, keep your list of bullet points, and then call me and unload them. I love it. That's what I'm here for, buddy.
Sounds great. Hey, you have a great day.
You too, man. Good talk. Thank you. Oh, I got to blow my schnoz again. You guys, this is brutal. If it just stays cold, I'm good. If it stays warm, I'm good. But this switch, I can't do it. Can't do it. I want winners. Can't do it. That's a pretty good single, Terry. Yeah, anybody going to give me credit? Can't do it. I want winners. See, that's one benefit I don't have. If you have a real radio show, you have a 7-minute commercial break every 14 minutes. And then you can go to the bathroom. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't have that. Snotty Irish. Bro, it's horrible. Like, I just get all stuffed up, all messed up. So it's kind of wild. Yeah. Sir Lucas, this is maybe one of the more fair points you've ever raised. And I'm going to put it on the screen. Maybe. What's the chances of ND beating 4 top 10 teams and winning a title when they haven't beat two in the same season since 2012? Lucas, I give you a hard time on a lot of this. If you knew how many hours I have spent worrying about that and running my mind over it. Gosh, it's funny you bring it up. I did a segment with Goolsby. I do segments with Goolsby on Patreon sometimes where he doesn't know what I'm going to bring up because I don't want to taint his answer by like texting him earlier in the day. Here's what I want to go over. Think about your reaction. I want to get him raw. I want to get him in the moment so he can't think about it at a time and just react. And I literally, the whole segment was, am I the only one that has anxiety about how Notre Dame is going to thrive and survive or not in this new dynamic? And I struggle with it. I don't have any answers. And nobody has any answers. We have to wait and see. But I, too, am a little skeptical of Notre Dame making that run against all top 12 teams, winning 4 in a row. Bro, I don't know. That seems like a tough ask. So again, we're in a situation where 12-teamer, easier to get in, harder to win it when you're in. 4-teamer, harder to get in, easier to win it when you're in. BCS, really hard to get in, but then you only have to have one good night and you're the champion. Are you guys following me? What is the easier path? What is the easier path? I don't know. The wider net for easier access and you have more spins at it by being in the tournament more. And I don't know. I don't know. And you are right. You know what I can see happening? Crying, I think you're onto something here, to be honest. Is this not going to turn into like pretty much the same group of teams are going to be in the playoff every year? Like, you can expand it to 12 all you want, but a part of me wonders if the same majority of teams, except for like 1 or 2, are going to be in it every year. And that's when I think you see all the recruits are going to be like, we're only interested in the 12 teams that are in the playoff every single year because we want to be in the playoff, and those are the only teams in the playoff. So I don't know. Now, I don't know if I agree with this. Let me make sure I understand the point. I'm not sure I agree with this. More teams provides more randomness. This is the law of large numbers. It will favor not as strong teams. I don't think I agree with that. In football, because of the nature of football, in a more random sport like hockey and baseball, I think that theory applies. How often do you see a wild card hockey team or a wild card baseball team make a run in the playoffs? You see that often. But I think good football teams are usually good football teams all year. Are you following me? The best teams tend to be the best years beginning to end. Beginning to end. I have a hard time seeing like a team that barely makes this playoff, that lost a few games, getting hot and running it all the way. I just feel like the better teams are the better teams. Chiefs were a wild card team this year, best quarterback in the country. That changes everything right away. Like I'm automatically, that's an outlier. You have the best quarterback in the world. Outlier. We ain't got that. Oh boy, look who it is. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
I'm good, man. I know you've been busy, had a lot going on lately. I don't know how much of this you were able to see or hear. The people are worked up today.
I was trying to listen, but yeah, I'm down in the Keys right now.
Well, that must be nice.
Yeah, I'm down in. Yeah, it's nice out in Florida right now.
You and Dr. John hitting the streets tonight, or what? I know he goes down there. You guys got matching little Irish Speedos on and hitting the town, or what?
Shit. If Dr. John's down here, let me know. I go find him. But
that wasn't a no. That, by the way, that wasn't a no. Oh man.
Good point. No, actually, I don't know what's going on. I've been. Oh my God, there's a gigantic iguana on my patio. Holy cow! I think it's like a foot and a half long. What's going on in the football world? I don't know.
I mean, people are mad about the schedule because that 12th game got announced, and now people are saying the schedule's a joke.
Army?
Yeah, because of Army. So people are mad about it. They're mad about it. Going, it's too easy of a schedule. I don't know.
Weren't they supposed to play? Miami? Wasn't it the U?
Yes. Yeah.
And the U backed out on them or something like that.
Yeah.
So, it's not like Notre Dame was trying to schedule this week's schedule. It's they had something happen to them. It's not. But still, at the same time, last year everyone was bitching about the fact that the schedule was too hard. Now everyone's bitching about the fact that the schedule is too easy. You can't win with these people.
Yeah, I know. Well, the only way you win is everybody wants a really, really tough schedule, and then you can't lose any of the games. That's the only way we're all going to be happy.
Right.
That's it.
Right. But they won't be happy until you win all the games. But even in last year's schedule, all right, you had Ohio State. You thought you had USC. You didn't see Louisville coming. I know Duke, their season didn't end where we wanted it to, thanks to Notre Dame breaking Riley Leonard's ankle. But they had a good team going. I mean, you had a Clemson team that you thought was going to be good, that probably was good. They just had a weird season. You just don't know what these schedules, what these teams are going to play. I mean, I remember 2012. 2012, you had Miami scheduled. They were bad. The only team you ended up really playing in 2012 was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. So I don't get frustrated. I saw how they're trying to spin it though. I got the email that said they're celebrating the game of the century.
Yeah.
Or for the 100.
Ride again.
It's not a bad.
Yeah, ride
again.
Yeah,
it's not a bad pitch. It's not a bad pitch, but it's still all right. I mean, just come out and say we needed a 12th game and Army had availability. It's the easier way to do it.
Yeah. So I don't know, Pat. And I asked, do you have any anxiety about how Notre Dame's going to fare in this expanded playoff, running that gauntlet, making a deep run? Do you have any anxiety about how that's going to go? Notre Dame, and you're going to have to beat 4 top 12 teams in a row. And that just seems a lot to ask for our lifetime of what Notre Dame's been. Do you have anxiety about that? Or do you think modern era, everything's different and we can hang?
You either can or you can't at the end of the day. There's no point in getting anxiety over it. Somebody has to do it. Somebody's going to have to do it. Why can't it be Notre Dame? Does Notre Dame have all the pieces to do it right now? I don't know if I can answer that question. I don't know if, as much as I like Riley Leonard as a player, I don't know if he's the guy at the quarterback position. But I think the defense might put something together. So you never know. But it's just somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's gonna have to beat. If you think about it, an SEC team, they're gonna have to beat somebody in the SEC championship. Then they'll get a bye game, but then they got to win a couple more games. So someone's gonna have to run that gauntlet. There's no reason to think Notre Dame can't do it until they don't.
Yep. It's just, it's going to be a really interesting dynamic. And Pat, I'm starting to think people aren't going to be happy and consider this year a success unless Notre Dame makes the playoff and wins at least a game. That's just my feeling of where the bar is this year. That's just the feeling of where I'm getting the vibe. I don't know.
I don't disagree. And here's my thing. And I've been saying this from the beginning. All those people who come after me saying I'm a Marcus apologist or whatever. It's year 3. We have a standard at Notre Dame. Okay. And I didn't set the standard. Leahy set the standard. Parseghian set the standard. Devine set the standard. Holt set the standard. You win a national championship in year 3. And no coach has ever won a national championship outside of the first guy to start winning national championships in New Rocky. No coach has won national championships without doing it in year 3.
If you
so
didn't
he's
got
to do it
one.
this year.
Interesting. Yeah,
if you didn't get that one.
Interesting.
So that's why Kelly, we should have known then Kelly wasn't going to do it. Kelly, everyone calls, Sir Lucas Holtz or whatever his cousin Luke's new name is. He calls him free pass. Kelly was the one that got the free pass. He got a free pass because he brought him there in 12. Yeah. He got that guy was he constantly got free passes for always losing. That's what he got He got free passes for losing.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Marcus a free pass. I'm giving Marcus an expectation. It's year 3. You got to do it. You got to do it. Now, am I going to call for the guy to be fired if he doesn't? No, because I think he deserves his 5 years. But at the same time, he's going to lose. He's going to start to lose support from me as a fan if he doesn't win it.
Yeah. It just seems like everything's coming together for this 3rd year, and it lining up with the playoff adds a lot. All of the stress of the first 2 years of Marcus, all the ups and downs, redoing the roster, the coaches coming and going. It's just weird how it all lines up with that history, and it comes to a head in year 3. But here we are, and Pat, you know me, Mr. Drama. Week 1's huge. I mean, week 1's just so huge. Here we are again where I'm like, you got to get this one. That is just lighting the wick that takes this all off. It's such a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
Such a big moment. Pat, are you drinking beer yet? Are you drinking beer yet or not?
No, actually, so I'm down here with all my in-laws. The entire family's here. There's 14 of us.
Oh boy.
We just got a giant pontoon, but my middle daughter has been running. She started running. She spiked a fever last night. She was like 103.6 or something like that. So everyone else went on the pontoon, and I'm just hanging out with my daughter. We're gonna go. She's doing better now, so we're gonna go get some ice cream in a little bit.
There you go. What a good dad. Good family, man, Pat.
I'm being the good dad. We're gonna go. Yeah, she heard ice cream, so she's peeking at me again.
There you go.
So yeah, but you know what? That first game is critically important because you can lose a game next year. You can't lose 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I do think Notre Dame. There's people were saying, oh, I think you did this. You said, well, LSU would have been the 12th team in the playoff or something like that with 2 losses. It was a 3. LSU was the top. Was the best.
They ended up, they ended up 13th at 9-3. Yeah.
Yeah. See, here's what I don't trust. So that's saying a 10-2 Notre Dame team should get into the playoff. Here's what I don't trust. There's these conference affiliations with these Power 5 teams. I think there are built-in reasons to say if you have enough 2-loss teams or you have a 3-loss team that won a conference championship, that Notre Dame gets knocked out. So I am not comfortable at 10-2 getting in. I think 11-1, you're fine. 10-2 it's right on the line for me. So I just don't like it.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to lose the A&M game because then you have 11 more football games that you cannot lose.
Yep.
You absolutely cannot lose.
And the other issue,
it's just not, the margin of error, and that's just.
Yep, you're right.
Makes me that's what gives me anxiety.
And the other piece of this is, even if you did make it at 10-2, you're going to have a much rougher road once you're in because you're not going to have that home playoff game. You might have to go to Ohio State round 1. That messes it up too. The seed, getting that home game is a big key to this too. So that's 5, 6, 7, 5 through 8, I think. So that would also be in play because with 2 losses, you're not going to be in that mix. You're right. You don't have that margin. And if you lose week 1,
you don't have that margin.
That's a long road to go, 11-0 after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just a lot of, that game is so critical because of that. What do I think is the most likely thing to happen? I do think Notre Dame, if they win 10 games or more, will end up in the playoffs, but there'll be an early exit. That's probably, if you were to ask me what would actually happen, even after I say I don't trust it at 10-2, it's still, Notre Dame draws a lot of money, but so it's always hard to turn them down. I just don't like the margin on it.
Yeah.
But they end up in the playoffs and they're a first round exit. That's what I think is the most likely scenario. I do think though, John, I do think there is a slim chance for something to happen and that nobody is going to see. And that when we roll into College Station, we knock them the F out.
Ooh.
We blow the doors off.
Woo! You've been out in that Florida. You've been out in that Florida sun, Pat. It's getting to you.
Listen. Then all of a sudden, all of college football is like, whoa, where did this Notre Dame team come from? And then we roll. We roll through the season. We look like Georgia. Half of it is because of our weaker schedule.
Yeah.
And we go into a playoff 12-0. We're the 5th seed, even though we're the number 1 ranked team in the country. We're the 5th seed because we can't get that automatic bye. And then we go in and we play like a top tier SEC team or something like that. But because we got a game under our belt, we blow their doors off. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, Notre Dame's back. And then the playoffs like, oh, we can't have Notre Dame getting a cold weather game in December as the 5th team when they're truly the best when they're number 1 team in the country. We got to put them back in the bye week.
Yeah.
So
man, you're not
there's a slim chance for that, John. Yeah. There's a slim chance for that, but I'll tell you when I'll start to believe that. It's when Notre Dame comes out, and maybe I've missed this. I haven't been around a lot lately. When Notre Dame comes out and says Al Golden is signed his extension, he's returning next year.
Yeah, I don't know what. I'm still waiting on that. I haven't heard a word.
Well, see, I started sweating when I saw the Niners fire their defensive coordinator. I was like, oh, see, this is the stuff I'm worried about.
Yeah. This
is the stuff I'm worried about. You got a top tier team, needs a defensive coordinator. What is Golden waiting for? I doubt he's waiting for, he's probably waiting for an NFL job. So that's what scares me.
It's a little weird. And if it happens, then Mike Mickens, you're up. So I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. But here's my point. Here's my issue with that. I'm fine with Mickens. All right. I'm fine with Mickens, but not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Golden has built this defense. Golden has built a very good defense. And one thing I think, I was going back through the recruiting. this is probably the best defensive line class I can remember. Maybe I have to go back to Stephon Tuitt and Aaron Lynch, but even that one, that was just 2 players. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys on here who can be dominant football players. We're talking serious talent, and I'm not talking undersized guys that Notre Dame has always gotten, the Trevor Laws of the world. I'm talking about big dudes who got size and length that can really play football.
Yeah, and that's one
so
thing. Notre Dame's always struggled with that in the modern era. In the modern era, Notre Dame struggled there too, and it's one of the big things missing on that. The defense is going to be a top 10 defense. If it gets near the top 5, it's going to be because of that D line. Can you get some more consistent rush there off the edges? Hold up against a run in the middle a little more with some push. I don't know, but it's going to be a big deal. And Pat, I'm not saying, Mickens comes in, no big. It's not my number one priority. It wouldn't be my number one choice, but I don't feel like you would have to go to the outside and have a stressful hiring. You would just promote Mickens. I've also, you'll agree with me, I feel about this the way I felt about Freeman. The ideal scenario was to learn a couple more years and then you get that job. That's what I want for Mickens too. So it might have to go early like Freeman. I don't know.
Well, that's right. Right. But that's like my perfect scenario for it, because then Al Golden can have any job he wants. If he rolls in and that defense is just playing lights out and Notre Dame has a deep playoff run, and it's clearly the strength of the defense that's keeping Notre Dame around. I'm not saying Denbrock's not going to put a good offense on the field. I'm thinking I don't think it's going to be the star offense, because I'm just not as I like Riley Leonard, but he's not the guy. He's not a Trevor Lawrence. He's not that guy that goes out there and wins you a football game. He's not a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams. So I'm not expecting that from the offense. I'm expecting the offense to be competent.
Yeah.
Something we haven't seen from Notre Dame offense since the last time Mike Denbrock was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been like 8 years. Yeah. So I just want competence from it.
Yeah.
And if we can get that with a lights out defense, the way football is intended to be played.
Yeah, we forget that.
You're going to have a hell of a football team.
Pat, I think about it, Pat. Look at the good things Notre Dame's done. Like how the program's like a top 10-ish program year in, year out, pretty much. Like, look at how much they have done without what I consider a real offense. What could it be like if you actually had a real offense? They've done a lot of good things, hamstrung by half their team. What if we actually felt good about both sides of the ball doing their part to win a game instead of the defense having to save the day every week?
Right. That's right. That's my point. But I just think this defense is on the verge of something special. It's a defense. I haven't been as excited for a defense since I thought 2013, after 2012 came out, and it was like, man, this was a really good defense. And then 2013 happened, and it's like, what happened to that really good defense?
Yeah.
But it's just there's some opportunity here, and I really think it's not just it's Marcus Freeman's 3rd year, so he has to do it. I do think there are pieces coming together.
Yeah.
I think he finally has the coaching staff the way he wants it. I know losing Chris O'Leary hurt, but we don't know what the replacement's going to be, and I'm not sure. He was a good recruiter. He's a good safety coach, but I don't know if he's the guy that changes your defense completely. And losing any coach of that quality is going to hurt. But when you lose a coach of quality, you just got to replace him with a coach of quality. So I'm not going to sweat that. But I think the staff has really come along. I think we got all the pieces in place from a personnel perspective to be dominant on defense and competent on offense.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. That'd be good. All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling when you're down there in the tropics. Have fun, buddy. Behave yourself.
Yeah.
Behave yourself.
It was supposed to be cool this whole week. It was supposed to be low 70s. I don't know what happened. Irish eyes are smiling. It's 84 degrees today right now.
There you go. And if you're with the in-laws, tell Ryan and Dean and all those guys I said hi too, okay?
I will do.
All right. Take care. Be safe down there.
All right.
Later.
Later, buddy. Bye.
See ya. Thanks. The last time I was on a tropical vacation with Pat, pretty sure he lost his wedding ring in the ocean. Pretty sure we were in Mexico for a wedding, and I'm pretty sure he literally lost his wedding ring in the ocean. And there it goes. And no, I don't think he like threw it in there. I think he was swimming or something and it came off. I just remember for some reason a bunch of people looking in the sand for Pat's wedding ring. Like, bro, the ocean's pretty big. I don't think you're going to get it. But I don't think he was like, oh, look at all those girls over there. Let me drop my ring in the water. I don't think that happened. I think he legitimately, he's saying it got tangled in seaweed. Sure, buddy. Sure, I'll tell your wife that's what happened if that's what you want. Oh, Pat, thanks for calling from the tropics. Look at this. 707. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, John. How are you?
Oh, listen to those golden pipes. He's back. I feel like it's Tony Roberts or something. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm calling because I was listening earlier to your show about the quarterback situation.
What do you make of it?
And I think one of them is going to be gone. I mean, there's 4 good ones. There's 5 actually on the roster, but there's a junior that I've never heard of before, so I don't even want to mention him. But, we're looking at Riley Leonard. What is it? Deuce. What's his last name?
Deuce Knight?
McAllister or something.
Deuce McAllister.
Where did I get that? That's somebody's name.
He was a football player. Yeah, he was a good football player. It just registered.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just funny because it just registered in your mind. Good football player, good football player. Deuce McAllister, come on down. Hey, Kevin McAllister, come on down. Let's go.
Hey, I'd put him at quarterback if he was available.
I like it.
That's what I have. That's the way I feel about Leonard. I told you about last year, you get a first-year guy, as a transfer. There's just too many variables. So, this thing that about year 3, just forget about it. There's no way it's going to happen this year. And I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but it's just the way it is. I mean, he's not that great anyway, so for our expectations, the way we were with Hartman, now we're even more so with Riley Leonard because he's a two-dimensional
listen, buddy. Listen, we're hitting pause on this. You got a couple chats coming your way. Dr. John, the voice of reason and wisdom. And even Sir Luke, who hates everything I say, says, this guy has a calming tone to his voice. He should do voiceover and book reads. There you go, man. The people like it.
Well, the book isn't a very pretty one, the way I'm seeing it. I mean, I love most everything about what's coming up, but Elko to me is untested. He had a Heisman winning quarterback to make the way for him. I mean,
you mean Denbrock? Are you talking?
I'm sorry, Denver.
Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah, Denbrock. See, I'm a little rusty on talking to you. I don't prepare. But Denbrock. I mean, who did he have? He had the Heisman winner. So, he had a guy Neighbors as a receiver, and this is all just a little too pie in the sky for me to think that he's going to make Jeffrey Leonard. That's a baseball player.
There we go.
He's going to make Riley Leonard. This superstar, and I just don't see it happen. There's too many things he's got to learn, and is he really going to be able to be a Notre Dame kind of guy? He seems to say right things, but all I know is from what I've seen in the past, with Cone, right?
Yep.
That quarterback that transferred, and then you got Hartman. These guys were very average, and I don't see Riley Leonard being talked about highly, to where he was so good he could have gone to the pros this year. He's staying for another year.
Let me ask you this. This is a lot
of injuries.
Yeah, well, thanks to us too. That's the irony in it. It's like, I'm worried about that ankle. Well, we're the ones who messed it up. So I guess I'm mad at us. Let me ask this.
Right.
Does his size, assuming relative health, does his size, 6'4", 220, whatever it is, and
6'4", 213 is what he's listed on the roster.
And legitimate mobility with his legs, does that give you any hope of like opening things up and more plays that normally would be throw the ball in the 10th row, incomplete, he could run for it? Like, because Hartman really wasn't that guy. He ran when he needed to, made a couple really big runs throughout the year, but it wasn't like something you had to plan for as a defense. Are you open to that just his mobility alone will open all this up a little bit more? And then maybe Denbrock has a good vision how to set things up. And maybe that loosens the stress on the pass game and eases us into this? Or am I just looking to be not miserable and coming up with good angles?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really know how sound his mechanics are. I didn't really study him last year.
It's a question
mark. A lot of games.
It's a question. I'll be honest. Yeah, everything I've heard, it's a question mark. 58% completion percentage last year. I've heard questions about his footwork. He's not a polished passer. That's not his best trait. And it's just,
and that's concerning. And then we have a lot of the offensive line has been, is not there. So there's a whole lot of different things happening to the offense, even though they're running back. And I think their receivers are going to be better than people expect this year, but that's only if Leonard can get him the ball the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just don't see a championship in year 3, for Freeman. And it's not fair to say that because it doesn't matter that just happened to be a freak thing that guys have done it on their 3rd year.
Yeah.
That's just a freak thing. It means nothing.
Well,
so,
okay. Now, wait. Let me push back a little bit here. Year 1.
Go ahead.
Year 1, you got guys coming in, trying to find their way. How do I want to run Notre Dame? It's year 1. I got to get my roots here, feel things out. Year 2, calibration year. You take what you learned from year 1 and your roster and everything, and then you calibrate. And then year 3, you're ready to cook. That
but
kind of makes sense.
Calibration happens every year. Calibration happens every year because it's so fluid, having kids be able to stay 3 and 4 years. And now with transfers, 2, 3, 4 years, it's always calibration year,
Yeah, I get that. But I think calibration years for new coaches is a little different. And then like year to year recalibration of what you already have cooking. So I don't know, man. And then, but let me ask you this. This is where it all goes.
Coaches,
This is where this all goes.
I like his coaches.
I got to ask you.
I think his coaches are,
What?
I think he's doing great with his assistants. I think that's a very solid thing in place that's been pretty stable. I mean, we did lose a nice one in the defensive backfield. But
you know what's going to happen. Right when you say that, right when we get off this show, it's going to be like, Al Golden's going to the NFL. You better not have jinxed it just by bringing that up, man. But this is where this all leads me then. I understand everything you're saying. Perfectly fair points. What then is your bar of a successful Notre Dame year next year? What is that level of achievement that you are going to feel like next year this time? Damn, Notre Dame had a really solid year that I'm proud of. What is that going to require for you to get there?
Well, a solid year that I'm proud of would be 11-1, but a year that I can tolerate would be 9-3 just because there's a new quarterback that's not very good. I mean, you got him from Duke, and then you get Oben from Duke. I mean, who's that guy? I mean, Notre Dame recruits better players than they're getting as transfers. Oben, I don't know if he's going to be some answer. I mean, the kid from Ohio State, Jean-Pierre Baptiste, he wound up finding himself and feeling comfortable in Notre Dame. So that's a good thing. But is Oben Ohio State? Is Duke Ohio State getting a kid like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. So, I mean, there's a lot of different, and the idea that we want to play, I talked to you on the email and you answered me just the other day, but Kaiser, I'm not a fan of his. I mean, we have Osbury, we have Sneed, we have Asa, get off your Asa.
KB. That's why I just call him KVA.
Villamiami.
I just call him KVA, and I don't have to do what you just did.
Villamiami.
Although
know.
I like what you did there. I caught that. Good job. Yeah, I like that. That was good. That's good. But okay,
yeah,
but wait, but that's of all the guys you're naming though, only one of them has the experience that the staff feels like they trust. And it's the first guy you mentioned. That's the difference. That's why they want him out there.
Yeah, but I think all these kids that we brought in were rated probably higher than Kaiser, so
yeah.
I'm not saying that I know that for sure, but I know what I've seen from him in 4 years. And, if we use him on special teams because he's fast, or if we use him on the end, but he can't play a guy in the middle. He just doesn't have the smarts for it. He doesn't, like Drake Bowen, put that kid in the middle, man, because he knows where the ball goes every time. He's always near the tackle if he's not making it.
Yeah.
When he's in there. And he's a heady guy, so he likes physicality. Is all Chicago or all Illinois or something like that? All Indiana. This kid can play some ball. So, you put Kaiser on the outside because he's best at only having to beat an outside tackle, and he can see the field better. But he gets buried in the middle. So I don't like seeing the idea that Kaiser's going to be there. And I think Riley Mills, all these people talking about him, he's a big oaf. He's a big nothing. It's time to put the young kids in. Villamiami, no, what's that kid? Seviano. Seviano is 6'1", 340 pounds. I think it's time to play him.
Plug him in the middle.
Yeah.
No running lane there, buddy. Yeah,
I know.
Man.
So let's see what he can do. Let's see what Devin Houston can do. Let's see what our boy, what's his name, can do. What's our guy's name?
Young, maybe.
Well, Young's another one, but and the best one. But what's the guy we like? That kid personally.
Oh, Brendan Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so
I did hear
got a lot of kids
did hear they're going to put some weight on him and move him to D tackle because they were trying to figure out his body frame and what they wanted to do. So it looks like they're going to put some more weight on. He had more weight, then they took it off. Now they're going to put some on and move him inside. So yeah, him too. Good call. Yeah,
he's only like 6'4", 279. So he does need to get bigger for the defensive line, no matter where you put him. But I would definitely put Brian Young's son on the outside. He's tall and he's getting bigger.
Yeah,
and he's fast.
He's
so
huge. Man, he's big already. He's huge already. It's beautiful. And he's got those NFL genes, baby. NFL genes. I love that thoroughbred.
Yeah, but as far as going back to what I was going to say about quarterbacks, I think, because I don't know what this guy Deuce Knight does yet, I don't see them hanging on to him because I'd rather go with TJ Carr for the 3 years. And, you have Angeli coming in after Leonard again. I mean, maybe he won't stay this time, but, you paid Riley to come in here, Leonard, and then you have Angeli, who looked really good in the bowl game. And then you have CJ Carr come in as a freshman just to sit and learn is a good thing. So he'll probably get redshirted and then have 5 years if he needs it, if he wants to stay for that. So Deuce Knight coming in, I don't think that's going to be a fit. I mean, unless he can, I don't know. I mean, I think you got to keep Minchie in the game just because he's learned the offense.
But that's a tough
college level.
That's tough. You're saying you don't know if Deuce is a fit, and there's people around Notre Dame that think Deuce is the ultimate answer. The main thing we haven't had in 25 years is a guy with that frame and athleticism at quarterback in Notre Dame. He's the type of athlete we don't get pulled out of a state we don't usually work. And a lot of people are saying
the athleticism.
A lot of people are saying he's like a freak that we never get. He's the kind of quarterback with the body frame and the athleticism we just don't get. So I don't know.
I think he could probably step in on the basketball team and be a star because they suck.
Well, they need some help.
Tall, so.
Yeah, they need some help.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that he's actually that athletic. I mean, I saw some film on him and he doesn't look like he has good footwork. He doesn't look fast. or quick. He might, once you get those long legs running, he'd be not catchable.
Riley Leonard has some of that. Riley Leonard has some of that, where it's not about the speed. It's the fact that one stride is 6 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we have to hope for. And you have to hope that line is going to be able to hold up for him to be able to do those kind of things. But this is a revamped offensive line. And I think they have all the potential in the world, and they're going to be forced to play these young guys now because the old guys left. So I'm excited about that. I only wish that the defense would look at it that way, because it's time to get rid of that old stuff. This is the third year of recruiting for Freeman now. I mean, there should be good juniors in there ready to go. Like these were high picks now that they got, high rated players that they got. So I want to see these new young kids on the defensive line and on the linebackers especially, because we've been so weak for years at linebacker. So I want to see what these young kids can do.
This is going to be interesting. And it's a big year for a lot of reasons. And we're going to see what happens.
Let me ask you, John. Let me ask you. I mean, of those 4 quarterbacks, who would you think is probably not going to stay? And who would you like to stay? But who do you think is probably going to be looking around? Because
wouldn't you think,
no room.
Wouldn't you think the most natural thought would be whoever doesn't win the backup job is the most likely to leave? Think about it. Riley Leonard's going to start if he's healthy. Then you have Carr, who's going to redshirt this year. And then you have the middle guys, which is Angeli and Minchie. To me, the most logical thing is the guy that loses that backup battle heads somewhere else after spring. That's my thought. That's how I see this, because Carr doesn't even really count next. He's going redshirt. That's off the radar.
Right.
I'm worried whoever doesn't.
And neither does Knight.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm worried whoever doesn't win the backup job heads out after spring. And I just don't know who that's going to be or how it looks.
Yeah, you're right. So what you're saying is Minchie or Angeli.
That's kind of what I'm thinking
between
makes sense.
Yeah. But I think Angeli, even still, he was only a freshman last year, wasn't he? So he's got 3 years at least available, I would think.
Angeli,
I don't know if he played enough.
I don't think he was a freshman.
Yeah.
He wasn't a freshman last year, I don't think.
All right. Well, even as a sophomore, did he play 4 games last year? So he's probably got 3 years left. So even if Riley plays this year, Angeli can be the quarterback for 2 years. That's incentive enough to stick around, I think. If you have to sit this year because of this guy coming in, and then you still are going to be a junior and senior.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be okay for him enough to say,
man,
if he wants to, or he could have an ego like Pine did and say, look, what I did in the bowl game, and now you don't want me? Fine, I'll go somewhere else, but I think Angeli's smarter.
Yeah, man,
anyway.
There's a lot to watch. This spring is going to be really, really intriguing for some good reasons for once. So I'm excited about it, but man, there's just a lot to think about and a lot to worry about. And we're going to see what happens, my friend. Hey, thanks for touching base. Appreciate it.
Okay. And Dr. John, God bless. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Really nice touching base with you. Thanks for the call. Have a good weekend.
All right, John. God bless you too. God bless everybody over there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care, man. Here's the other thing. We'll end on this. I see some people in the chat baiting me, wanting me to get mad about other shows. And I know what some of you do. You try and throw some chum in the water to get me to go after it. And then you take that and then go cause a bunch of drama for me behind the scenes and all that. I know that's what you guys do. So here's what I'm going to say. I would love to go off on people. I need the evidence. Give me the evidence. If you're trying to get me all worked up to yell about another show or other hosts or whatever, send me what they say about me, because I don't see any of that stuff. I'm so busy with my own stuff. I do not have time to go watch and listen to the other shows that are doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm too busy for that. I don't watch those other shows. If it's true that people are talking about me, send me a clip or give me the timestamp. John, on this stream, go to minute 38. Then I'm in a position to be able to actually go back at people and make a big deal about it. But only if somebody send me the tape or give me a minute mark, and then I'll give my retort. But I'm not going to expose myself when I can't verify it. So if somebody wants to send me a podcast or whatever and go to the 42-minute mark when a guy takes a shot at you and your show, that's a different story, because then I feel I have a clear runway to be able to do what I need to do. But I'm not just going to let anybody just say, John, they're talking about you, to get me to get all mad and yell. And then I find out later it didn't happen and I just yelled about all these other people. I'm not going to do that. But if anybody really does have any of the evidence, I mean, I would love that. I eat that stuff up. So send it to me, and then I will use it and put together a retort. But I'm not just going to go down that path without the evidence. So I don't know. Whatever. God, what a wild morning, you guys. This has just been all over the place. I have no idea, on a random cold Friday with nothing going on. And everybody was popping off today. Everybody was popping off today. Yeah. Leave crying. Don't come back. If that's what you think and that's your judgment, just go and don't come back. Although somebody who carries themselves like you do wouldn't last 2 minutes over there. That's my answer to that. But yeah, whatever. Night show, please. Yeah, we might be able to do that. I don't know about tonight or tomorrow. Maybe not. I don't know. Let me see how I feel too. It's hard doing this when you can barely breathe and you got to blow your nose every 2 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Crying. You give me a hard time. You're banned everywhere else. So be nice to me. I figured you were banned. There's no way. Oh, man. There's no way. Yeah, I'm really shocked that other hosts don't have the patience that I do. Yeah, I don't know what got into you guys. This was a wild little situation today with a lot more energy than what I expected. If I feel better and I could breathe, maybe we could do a show this weekend. Maybe tonight if I feel better. Maybe I'll eat a bunch of medicine. I'll let you guys know. But I don't know what happened, but I love the energy. In the off season, that fires me up when you guys are fired up. I thought I missed some news. I logged in today and the chats were just off. Adam saying we're all blocked. Yeah, maybe that's how I got an audience, because everybody else is blocked everywhere else and then they end up coming here. Maybe I need to be a bigger blocker. Oh, John puts up with a lot of BS from us. Got to respect it. I appreciate that. Man, you got to roll with some of that. It'd be boring if everybody in here was like, John, you're automatically right about everything, and I agree with all of your takes and your callers. I don't want that. I don't want that. So thank you guys for being here. This was wild. So keep the energy up. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the chats. I do appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you. Have a good weekend if I don't do a show.